a 1% difference on an interest rate can have a huge impact on your mortgage payment. So there are sellers out there who are willing to let you assume the balance of their loan, the current interest rate that they have. In today's market, we know that the interest rates are really high. Interest rates are up to the 8%, depending on your credit score and situations and all of that. And I know many people are wondering, well, how can I even afford a house right now with interest rates the way they are right now? Some people are wanting to become homeowners, but they really don't want the extra payments. They really don't want to, for lack of a better way of saying it, they don't want to break the bank to become a homeowner. And I have found a way, guys, to help you to become a homeowner without breaking the bank and still have a decent interest rates. I'm a local real estate agent with Homebuyer Real Estate right here in Tampa, Florida. I turn renters into homeowners. If you've not yet subscribed to this channel, go ahead and do that. Hit the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. So Assumable Mortgages, I have the pleasure of actually working on one right now, and I figured, hey, it's a good time to actually make a video about it. So I have this buyer who is totally qualified to buy a house, but he doesn't want to have a huge mortgage monthly payment. So we've decided to look into assumable mortgages. Now, you may ask, well, what is assumable mortgage? Well, it means exactly what it sounds like, to assume something, to take something on. So basically what's going to happen is you are basically going to assume the owner's mortgage. You're assuming you're going to assume the term. So if they have a 2.26 interest rate, if they have a 5% interest rate, if they have a 2.5% interest rate, then you get your loan at the exact same interest rate that they have, because you are kind of taking over their loan. And it's a great way to get into a home without having all the high interest rates, because let me tell you, the higher interest rates, the higher your mortgage payment. So we've decided to look into that. We found a perfect home, and it is offering assumable mortgage. And I'm like, let's jump right into it. So what are some of the steps that you need to take to actually go that route? So first of all, the loan itself has to already be able to be assumable. Okay, so it's not something that you're gonna take and turn it into an assumable mortgage. Not all loan programs are assumable, right? So in order for you to find out if a loan is assumable or not, you will have to talk to your lenders and kind of get a little bit more information about the types of loans that are available out there for you, because this video really is not a video about the types of loans. It's just about assumable mortgage. So the first thing you want to do is find a house that is offered for sale that offers assumable mortgages. Once you find the house, you're going to make an offer. So it's basically following the same steps like you would for a regular offer, a regular loan. So you're going to make an offer. Once the seller accepts your offer and you are on the contract, the seller will initiate the assumable loan process. So it's not something that you initiate, it's something that the seller initiates, because the lender is going to take a look at the loan and start all their paperwork and do all that stuff. And when you are putting an offer, you want to also, I think it's really a great idea to start the conversation before you make an offer or before you do all of that. What we've done with my buyer is we spoke to the agent at first, because we saw in the MLS, because that's a great way to find them, that offered in the MLS, or just have a conversation with the seller. But we had that conversation, found out that this loan is assumable, and the buyer was ready to go for it. So we had that conversation. We actually reached out to because he gave us the company or the of the mortgage, like the servicer of the mortgage, of the seller mortgage, and we reached out to them and start the process there to understand the length of time it's going to take to do this, what you're going to need, because you are still going to need to be approved for the loan, right? Just because you're assuming the seller's mortgage does not mean that you don't have to go through approval process. You're going to go through the loan approval process just like you would if you were doing a different kind of loan. So talk to the seller, talk to the lender, so you have that communication open, so you know exactly, or seller or the lender informed us that we would need to make the offer for at least 90 days because they don't know how long it takes. It can take anywhere from 45 to 90 days. So he asked us to make it for 90 days. That's the other thing as well. Most sellers do not want to wait that long for a closing, but this one is open to it. So you want to make the offer based on those time frames. You will still go through your inspections and all of that. You will still go through your appraisal and all of that. And as well, just want to put this in here, FYI, for the appraisal. I don't think the appraisal is going to make a huge difference because you're really not, even if the house, let's say the house is worth $350,000, but you're only assuming $250,000, so the house, only needs to, most homes, if the house is on the market for $350 and they only owe $250, so most times it's gonna appraise. So you don't have to really worry too much about the house not appraising because you're basically only going to assume the balance of the loan. This particular program will cost you a little bit more out of pocket as a down payment. Just like I said before, if the house is listed for $350, the seller owes $250, then you, the buyer, would probably have to come up with $100,000 as a down payment, okay? Because the seller, even if you're assuming the loan, still wants to make money. They're not just going to give you their house. Get what I'm saying? So you still have to come out with about $100,000, which is what my buyer is going to come out of pocket with, and that does not include closing costs. That does not include your inspection. That does not include your title fees or your lender fees or any of that. You're still going to have to pay that. But the caveat on that is you are assuming a loan at a lower interest rate, possibly making your mortgage monthly payment more affordable. Right now, that's what people are looking for, to be able to afford your mortgage payment, to be able to pay your mortgage and still be able to leave and not just pay your mortgage and then you can't do anything, right? You'd still go through the loan approval process like you would if you were getting just a regular FHA, just a regular conventional or VA, whatever. You still have to go through that process. So just because you're assuming the loan does not mean that you don't need a good credit score. You still need to have that credit score. You still need to have a decent debt to income ratio. So you still need to have those things. But it is a great way. I was doing the math of the difference between a $350,000 home at 7.5% and the same $350,000 home at 2.26%. The mortgage payment on that is so different. 7.5% of 350,000 is about almost $26,000, give or take, compared to 3.5%, which is about $8,000. So that's a huge difference. It helps with your mortgage payments. My particular buyer is going from a $4,000 mortgage, because we were looking at buying another property that was about $425,000, about that, had interest rate about 7.5%, taxes was over $7,000, HOA and all of that. His mortgage would be over $4,000 compared to the one that we're looking into, which is a $325,000 at a 2.26%. His mortgage would only be between $1,600 and $1,800. Let me tell you, there's a huge difference. There's a huge difference between $1,600 a month and $4,000 a month. Just because you are going to assume the mortgage does not mean you don't have to qualify for the loan. So you still have to qualify for the loan. So you still want to make sure that before you start looking for homes that you're getting a pre-approval. Okay. Now there are a few types of loans that are assumable. So not all of the loans are assumable, but you will know by asking questions. And I know for sure that a VA loan is an assumable loan. One thing I found out through going through the process of working with a buyer that's doing an assumable mortgage loan is that you don't really have to be, which blows my mind, but you don't really have to be a veteran or in the military to assume a VA loan, which I'm like, huh? Because I thought you had to be. So what you will do is the seller is basically transferring the balance of their loan to you at the interest rate that they have. So if the seller has a 2.5% interest rate, a 3% interest rate, a 4% interest rate, even a 5% interest rate, that's what you're going to get it as, taking over their loan at the interest rate that they have, which can make a huge difference in your mortgage payment. I tell you, 1% makes a huge difference. I was doing the math, calculating what is seven's right. Currently, interest rates are like 7.5, and and keeps going up. So if you have, let's say, a $350,000 home at 7 point something, that's an extra $26,000 that's tacked on your loan, right? Your mortgage payment is going to be higher compared to if you had get that same $350,000 home at a 2.5% interest rate, or even a 2 or 2.25. That's about what, $7,000-8,000. So $7,000-8,000 compared to 26, it's a huge difference. So you might want to look into assumable mortgage. Don't just assume that a mortgage is assumable. Okay, make sure you're doing your research, you're doing your homework, but it is a choice that many people don't know about. And I know currently a lot of sellers are not, a lot of homeowners are not wanting to sell their house because, again, they have a great interest rate. And why would I leave a 2.5% interest rate to go to a 7? You know what I'm saying? But there are those who are wanting to sell and they don't mind doing the assumable mortgage. Before you go down that road, make sure you are doing your research. Okay, make sure you're doing your research on this so that you don't get stuck. Before you just, this loan is assumable, I want to do it, make sure you're doing the research. Talk to the lender, talk to the seller, so that the seller can start initiating the process. The time frames on this is going to be a little bit longer because it's a different kind of loan. Also, you might have to come out of pocket. You might have to come up more money out of pocket because if the house is listed for $350, the seller owes $250, you are going to assume that $250, because remember, you're assuming the balance of the loan, right? So you're assuming that $250, there's still $100,000 that needs to be taken care of. That $100,000 is going to be your down payment. So you're going to have to come up more out of pocket as a down payment, plus you will still have to pay your closing costs, your title fees, your lender fees, and all of that. All of those fees are still going to be into play. So it might cost you a little bit more to do, but you can still negotiate with the seller. You can still ask them to help you with closing costs. You can still ask them to maybe offer a home warranty, whatever. You can still negotiate. So if you're doing that, make sure you're talking to your agent so you understand the steps. But you will come up a little bit more because they're gonna have to recoup that. The seller's not just gonna give you the $350,000 home for $250,000. You will assume the $250,000, but you're gonna have to pay that $100,000. So look into it. See if this is something that will work for you. Like I said, 1% makes a difference. If I can assume somebody's mortgage for 2.5% compared to getting that same house at the same price for 7.5%, I'm going to be saving a lot more money on my mortgage if I can assume that mortgage. So check it out. Reach out if you have any questions. I would love to help you out, guys. I'm a licensed real estate agent in Tampa, Florida. So if you're looking to move into Tampa, if you're looking to buy, if you're looking or just have questions about the real estate market in Tampa, send me a DM, leave it in the comment. I would love to chat with you. And I'm gonna attach my my website in the description of this video because you can search directly on my website for homes. Reach out if you have any questions. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. Bye.